thank you for coming. What we'll do now is to review chest compressions in a neonate. And if you think about neonatal resuscitation, you usually start off with airway and breathing. And at some point during your assessment of the child, you'll take a heart rate, either by auscultating or by palpating the umbilical cord.
Okay.
And if the heart rate is low at that point, meaning less than 60 beats per minute, you wouldn't necessarily jump to doing chest compressions just yet. You want to make sure you establish effective ventilation first for at least a good 30 seconds before going on to chest compressions.
Supporting that could bring the heart rate up on its own.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So the majority of babies, if they're breathing and they have good chest rise, then the heart rate should naturally come up on its own. And then in a subset of babies, potentially they might need more circulatory type of support. And so in those kids, then you would provide chest compressions. So after 30 seconds of effective ventilation.
Okay.
Any questions about that before we move on? No? Okay, great. So what I would like to do is show you the landmarks on and where you would place your fingers, your hands on a baby. So when you're in the field, pay attention to what kind of surface you're on, because right now we're on a table and it's nice and hard, so you wouldn't necessarily need a backboard. But potentially, if you're going into somebody's home and the mom is delivering on a soft bed, then you need to, just like in adults and older kids, you want to make sure that when you're giving compressions that you're giving it against a firm surface. Okay. The preferred technique is called the two-thumb technique, where you encircle your fingers around the back of the baby. And this technique is preferred and nice because of two reasons. One, your fingers in the back serves as a backboard. So even if you're on a soft surface, then you will be able to compress with enough depth with your thumbs.
Okay.
So if we're thinking about doing the two-thumb technique, what you want to do is assess the baby's landmarks, look for the nipples, connect an imaginary line to it, look for the xiphoid process, and your thumbs are going to be positioned somewhere between the xiphoid and your nipple line, okay? Not on the xiphoid because you could break your xiphoid process,
Right.
and not above because you want to direct your fingers over the heart. So here's your nipple line, here's your xiphoid. I'm going to put my thumbs right here, and it's very important to make sure that your fingers are not too spread apart. You don't want them on the ribs. You want them on the sternum. And so either they could be side by side or one above the other. I generally like them side by side because otherwise you're putting a lot of pressure on one of your thumbs as you're doing compressions. Okay? And then your other fingers, like I had mentioned before, go around the back. So then you start compressions, and you're going to provide it. It's usually coordinated. Well, I'll show it to you uncoordinated. Coordinated with breaths when I say coordinated. So 1 and 2 and 3, but faster than that. 1 and 2 and 3, somebody's going to breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, breathe. And the depth should be about 1/3 of your anterior posterior diameter of the chest.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
The other thing I should mention is that you would also want to keep in mind the rate. So I modeled that as 1 and 2 and 3, breathe. 1 and 2 and 3, breathe. So 3 compressions, 1 breath for each cycle should take about 2 seconds. You want to do about 90 compressions and 30 breaths in a minute.
Okay.
And so it's really, really fast compared to adults and older kids. And this is because when we're providing compressions, the best respiratory rate we'll be able to provide that baby is 30 breaths per minute, when normally kids breathe about 40 to 60 times a minute.
Okay.
And so that's why it goes that fast.
Sounds
All
good.
right. You ready to get your hands on the baby?
Absolutely.
So why don't one of you bag and one of you do chest compressions, and then we'll switch off.
Go ahead and do the bag.
Sure.
You ready? Yep. 1 and 2 and 3. 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 I think I got it.
Yeah, that's a great rate, great depth, good coordination, and usually the person who's doing the compressions is doing the counting out loud, so that way you make sure that you're coordinated, and the person who's bagging is making sure that you are coordinated.
Very good.